Good afternoon, Guardians, and welcome to episode 4 of This Week in Destiny, a weekly Destiny news program airing every Tuesday, going over the latest and greatest in Destiny game updates, news, announcements, and community content. Our top story. Well, nothing, we don't do top stories. However, we do have a lot of interesting things to talk about this week, but first, a word from this episode's sponsor. This episode brought to you by DestinyGhostHunter.net. This is a pretty awesome website that allows you to input your gamertag or PSN ID, and it will automatically detect which of the dead ghosts you have and haven't found in Destiny. Not only does it break it down per planet and location, but it also provides quick instructions on where to find each one, as well as pictures and a YouTube video showing its location. If you're like me and have no clue which of the ghosts you already found and which you're still searching for, this can definitely set you on the right track. You can find a link to the site in the description below, along with links to everything else discussed in this episode. And speaking of Valus Tarek of the Meridian Bay, wait, what? This week's Nightfall is Valus Tarek of the Meridian Bay. You're in for a real treat with this one. The heroic modifiers are just heroic and light switch, and the Nightfall modifiers are epic, Nightfall, light switch, angry, and juggler. So no burn damage increase of any kind for the second week in a row. Little known fact, 1 out of every 2 episodes of This Week in Destiny actually feature a Nightfall with no burn damage. And 1 out of every 4 feature a Nightfall with all 3 damage boosts. Strange things are afoot. There's a couple different strategies you can employ to take out the final boss. If you click the link on the left, you can watch JP Cold Killer hide under the stairs for 12 minutes, and if you click the link on the right, you can see how to actually glitch on top of the map and kill the boss with armor-piercing rounds. Now this video was made by
Fahrradlicht,
which means bicycle light in German.
Fahrradlicht.
Yeah, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that myself. I already get English names wrong enough. As always, both of these videos were uploaded earlier today, so you can be sure that they are both up to date. Of course, with the new Heroic and Nightfall means another weekly raid reset. Now, I hear what you're saying. Brian, there's no way there can be news on Crota's End or Vault of Glass. They've been out forever. Brian, you'd have to scrape the bottom of the bucket to find a recent story about the raid. Brian, your voice carries the authority of a strong yet unbelievably modest wildebeest. Well, you're wrong on 2 out of 3 of those claims, because this week Reddit user and Destiny savant Slayer Age completed the entire hard mode of Crota's End by himself. You should definitely check out some of the other videos on this guy's channel if you're into this kind of thing. It's not the first time he's pulled off some crazy feats in Destiny's raids. Of course, for the 99% of us who are forced to make pretend friends on Destiny LFG in order to raid, you can check out our guides for the normal and hard versions of Crota's End right here. Now, who could have possibly guessed that this week's Nightfall would again have no burns? Well, this guy. Brought to you by the same hacktivist who released early screenshots of the House of Wolves expansion, he decided to throw in a prediction for what this week's Nightfall would be. Except instead of just typing it out like anyone else, how about in-game screenshots he captured showing data mined info which 100% accurately predicted this week's Heroic and Nightfall, including all of the perks for each. This guy's been making some pretty big waves on Reddit recently with the information that he's been harvesting from the game. Recently, he made some unnerving claims, such as all of Xur's items are in a predetermined ordered list, and Gjallarhorn is not scheduled to be sold in any week. Now, given his superb track record of leaked information, his posts have caused many people to doubt Bungie's claims about the random nature of certain aspects in the game. However, if you'll remember a few episodes back in the show, we talked about Deej's claim that Bungie has specific plans to increase the likelihood of Xur selling Gjallarhorn. Given that its current likelihood is supposedly about exactly 0, I think an increase of any kind can make quite the difference. When he's not busy crushing Gjallarhorn dreams or hiding from Activision sleeper agents, Mega Man EXE4 spends his time leaking unreleased playlists for the game. 3 days ago, he released a collection of screenshots showing the new Inferno modes for every playlist currently in Destiny. According to the description shown in these images, these Inferno modes are almost like a hardcore playlist, making it so that the only way to earn points in each playlist is by getting kills, leading some in the Destiny community to say, what? Of course, it's important to keep in mind that as Bungie has not yet unveiled or made any announcements regarding Inferno mode, it's entirely possible that the description is a placeholder or that the objectives may change. Speaking of Bungie, they had a few exciting announcements to make in their last weekly update, perhaps the most interesting of which is their decision to allow matchmaking for the weekly Heroic. After Bungie took such a hard stance against matchmaking for this part of the game, it's interesting to see them change their mind, and begs the question of how long it will be before the raids have matchmaking as well. In the meantime, you can now search for other players to complete the weekly Heroic with, and in fact, you have to. Since it is now flagged as a matchmaking playlist, you will automatically be forced to search for other Guardians when entering solo. I'm not really sure how I feel about this announcement or matchmaking in general for Destiny strikes and raids. It makes it easier to find a group, but likely makes these groups less social and less cohesive. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about all this. They also had some quick bullet point changes to announce as well. Xur will now sell an exotic engram every week. Iron Banner will be getting new maps in the playlist as well as new bounties. Strikes and Crucible maps will be less likely to repeat themselves multiple games in a row, and Grimoire cards will now drop quote-unquote when you expect them to. Personally, I don't think I've ever once expected to get a Grimoire card, so I guess I won't be anymore. These changes are all coming with patch 1.1.1, which is set to release before next Tuesday's episode, so I guess I'll see you on the other side. At the bottom of their post, Bungie provided a link to a YouTube video of something just awful. So I guess a kid was streaming when he allowed someone to take control of his game via PlayStation's Play and Share feature. This guy then went through and deleted 2 of the kid's characters as well as his exotic Plan C on his last remaining character. It's simultaneously the most heart-wrenchingly sad and hilarious thing I've probably ever seen in Destiny. Now, it's not funny at all that it happened, and doing something like this is a real scummy move. I just think it's funny that someone managed to pull it off. The entire video is 17 minutes long, but the action starts about 12 minutes in. As always, I'd like to end the show with some special contributions made by community members this past week. First up is Redditor A Rye Shark, who has made some great in-depth exotic guides for warlocks and hunters. When questioned about Titans, he stated, "Who cares about Titans? All they do is blow bubbles and complain." No, that's a lie, he didn't say that. In fact, he's implied that his Titan guide will be coming soon, which is great because my level 6 newscaster Titan could really use some guidance. And second, just yesterday, Redditor BRay784 posted the statistical results of completing 500 Crucible matches and 200 Iron Banner games. Part of the post goes over the odds of playing the same map multiple times, which remember Bungie's announced that they're going to be changing. But I'd say the most interesting data they compiled has to do with the chance of receiving different levels of engrams or exotics per game. The links to these posts and everything else we talked about throughout the show can be found in the video description. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or just want to chat, then you can hit me up on Twitter at RaidLeaderTV or leave a comment below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next Tuesday on Raid Leader TV.